Around 3500 BCE, over 5,500 years ago, something remarkable happened on Earth. Humans, who for thousands of years had hunted, gathered, and slowly experimented with agriculture, suddenly began building something much more complex: civilizations. These were not merely villages or farming communities, but entire societies, complete with organized governments, monumental architecture, social hierarchies, writing systems, economies, and belief structures. The first civilizations did not appear everywhere at once. They arose in very specific locations. River valleys, where the natural environment provided everything early societies needed to thrive. Fertile soil, fresh water, and a means of transportation and trade. Let us now journey through these first great centers of civilization. Sumer, the cradle of civilization, which begin in southern Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what is today modern-day Iraq. Here lay the land of Sumer, often called the cradle of civilization. Around 3500 BCE, the Sumerians began building some of the world's first true cities. Uruk, home to perhaps the first monumental ziggurat, and once one of the largest cities in the world. Ur, a center of religion and administration, and later home of Abraham according to tradition. Lagash, Eridu, and Nippur, important spiritual and political hubs. The Sumerians gave us writing, in the form of cuneiform etched into clay tablets. They developed irrigation systems, a calendar, mathematical systems, and even an early form of schooling. Each city was ruled by a priest-king, and wars between cities were common. Still, Sumer's legacy would influence every civilization that followed. Then came the Akkadian Empire, the First Empire. Around 2334 BCE, a powerful king named Sargon of Akkad conquered the Sumerian cities and created the world's first known empire, the Akkadian Empire. Sargon ruled from Akkad, a city whose precise location is now lost to history, but which once controlled much of Mesopotamia. The Akkadians preserved much of Sumerian culture, merged it with their own Semitic language, and spread it across the Fertile Crescent. The idea of an empire, one ruler over many diverse peoples, was born here. While cities were rising in Mesopotamia, a parallel story was unfolding along the Nile River. By 3100 BCE, Upper and Lower Egypt were united by King Narmer, also known as Menes, forming the first centralized kingdom in Egyptian history. This marked the beginning of dynastic Egypt. Egyptian civilization centered on cities such as Memphis, the first capital near modern-day Cairo; Thebes, a later religious and political center; Heliopolis, a city of learning and sun worship. The Egyptians developed a complex bureaucracy, a hieroglyphic writing system, and an agricultural calendar based on the Nile's annual floods. They built the Great Pyramids of Giza during the Old Kingdom, around 2600 BCE, under pharaohs like Khufu, showcasing not just engineering marvels, but the might of centralized labor and divine kingship. Egypt's civilization would endure for over 3,000 years, one of the longest lasting in human history. To the east, in present-day Pakistan and northwest India, a new kind of civilization was flourishing by 2600 BCE, the Indus Valley Civilization, also called Harappan civilization. Centered on cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, the Indus people built some of the most advanced urban centers of the ancient world. These cities had grid-like street plans, sophisticated sewage and drainage systems, public baths, and standardized weights and measures, evidence of highly organized government and trade. Yet, the Indus script remains undeciphered, and their rulers and religion remain mysterious. Still, their cities speak volumes about their ingenuity and planning. By around 1900 BCE, this civilization began to decline, possibly due to environmental changes, floods, or declining trade. In northern China, along the Huanghe or Yellow River, another ancient civilization began to emerge by 2000 BCE. The earliest known dynasty, the Xia dynasty, is partly mythological, but the Shang dynasty, from around 1600 BCE, gives us our first clear archaeological evidence of a Bronze Age Chinese civilization. Centered around cities like Anyang, The Shang kings ruled a hierarchical society with oracle bone writing, bronze ritual vessels, and a belief in ancestor worship and divine rule. Later, the Zhou dynasty would introduce the idea of the mandate of heaven, an enduring concept that rulers were chosen by the gods, but could be removed if they failed the people. Often overlooked, yet vitally important, is the Norte Chico civilization in Peru, dating to as early as 3000 BCE. Centered around the city of Caral, this civilization built large pyramids, complex irrigation canals, and urban centers despite having no known writing system or ceramics. Caral challenges the assumption that writing or pottery are prerequisites for civilization. It suggests that religion, trade, and centralized authority may have been sufficient to spark urbanization. So, what are the main features of the early civilization? From Uruk to Memphis, Mohenjo-daro to Anyang, early civilizations had distinct differences but shared core features. Cities, dense urban centers, as focal points of administration and religion. Centralized authority, kings, priest rulers, dynasties. Writing systems for administration, record-keeping, religion, and trade. Monumental architecture, temples, pyramids, city walls. Social hierarchy, elites, artisans, farmers, and slaves. Religion, gods that mirrored their environment. Sun gods, river deities, and ancestral spirits. Surplus agriculture, thanks to irrigation and organized labor, allowing not everyone to farm. Civilization was not just about survival, it was about organization, innovation, and legacy. If you've enjoyed this journey through the world's first civilizations, and you'd like to keep exploring the story of humanity with us, please give this video a like, share it with others who love history, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the ancient past. Every click helps us bring more history to life and keeps this project growing. Thank you for watching.